This is Sprues and Studs, and welcome on into another Besides the Bricks video. In this one, we're going to be reviewing two JoyToy and Warhammer collaborations, specifically two leaders of the Warhammer armies. One is the ever-mysterious Psyker, which has obviously psychic abilities, is able to control the warp, and basically blast enemies with their minds. And second is the very newly released one. In fact, I just got it today. This particular one is a big chonky boy and can blast people with his Boltstorm Gauntlet or the Captain in Gravis Armor. I'm very excited to be reviewing these things with you guys, and let's see what these figures are about. So, just to let you guys see, this is the box for the Space Marine Primaris Librarian. You can see that he is sporting his ever-popular Force Sword, as well as wielding some psychic powers. Usually these guys have a plasma pistol, but I don't actually remember whether this particular model actually comes with a plasma pistol or not. But we shall find out what it comes with very, very soon. And then the second one, as I said, I just received and it was newly released, is the big chonky boy, your Ultramarines Captain in Gravis Armor. So you have the big, huge power sword that he is wielding, as well as the ever-present Boltstorm Gauntlet over here. And I'm not exactly too sure what else this figure comes with, because the standard loadout is exactly what you get over here. Now, you will notice that there's actually quite the size difference between the two boxes. For some reason, the Psyker one is about a third bigger than the Captain one, which I'm not exactly too sure about why that's the case, but we will crack both of these guys open and figure out exactly why. So join me in a second and we will figure it out. All right, folks, we are going to unbox this badass librarian right now. So let's see what we got and let's unbox it right now. I'm very excited to see this particular Marine, in that librarians are actually one of my favorite units, or HQ units, inside of the Warhammer universe. And I've always loved the mystique that is associated with the librarians, as they are psychers and they are completely badass. Okay, now that we have the plastic wrapping off, let us see what this Primaris Librarian is all about. And here we go. Alright, so we have a name card that is found on all of the Chinese releases, I believe. Let's see what this librarian is called. His name is Orseus, and unfortunately I am illiterate in Chinese, so I can't read that to you. Maybe somebody on YouTube can translate this for us. Anyway, so let's go to the main event and bust open the librarian. So as you can see here, comes with obviously the librarian, and oh, what happened to his pauldron? Guess it fell off for some odd reason. Okay, oh, it's got his name on it here too. Very cool touch. And got the armaments here, and looks like the only armament that the librarian has is a Force Sword. Usually they come with a plasma pistol, I believe. I can't remember off the top of my head what other armaments. It would have been nice if they included, but let's take a look at this Force Sword. So it is actually painted almost like how you would find one in any other Warhammer 40k models that you would paint. You have the silver tip here, then gradual fade into a blue, as well as these mystic runes that go on top of here. This is very accurate to what a librarian would be wielding. Very cool. And then, I suppose we have various other hands that you can fit into the socket. You can push them into place. Apparently these are regular hands here that have none of the force lightning or force power that is associated with it. And looks like with these hands you have the characteristic glow that you would find when you are using your psychic powers here as a psyker. The only thing that we have is a backpack, and Okay, this backpack also rotates just like any other backpack that you would find. I actually did not know that this rotated until I busted open the incursors. And lastly, we have the normal helmeted version of the Librarian that you can see that has the psychic hood that amplifies the psychic power of this Librarian. So we'll put this out of the way and look at the Librarian himself. Let's look at this material over here. So the cloak is actually made of a very, very flexible plastic material, and it is unlike any other material that I've ever actually encountered in my life in terms of plastic. So you have this outer cloak over here, and looks like the Librarian has this inner cloak that comes with, I suppose, a set of books and the iconic keys. So this is a very soft material that's going on over here, and I believe if you are bored enough, you could probably take off this outer cloak, which I'm not really going to bother doing because the Librarian would look really weird if you actually took this off. Looks like this pauldron is attachable by a ball and socket joint up here, as you can tell. I won't bother really doing that. So let's take a look at the finer details here and put this up close. So the Librarian, as you can see the pupils, you can see the lines of the psychic power running around his eyes. You can also see, obviously, the psychic hood that this Librarian is wearing. That's supposed to, again, amplify the psychic power. And there is some shading that's involved. However, I would say that this looks kind of weird, as in, like, Librarian's face looks kind of dirty. There's a lot of black lines and black, I don't know if these are supposed to be misprints, but this is actually probably one of the more sloppy, I guess, faces that I ever seen on one of these JoyToy models. Anyways, as usual though, you have a good amount of highlights that occur on this model. If not, actually, these highlights look pretty sloppy compared to what you would normally find on a JoyToy model. Doesn't have the supposed semi-crisp lines. It almost looks like it's, I don't know, kind of slapped together, especially with this particular gauntlet. I don't know, it's really weird. For this model, when you buy it, it is north of around $60-something, and for something that's $60, I would expect a heck of a lot more detail and a lot more attention to, I suppose, the lines. So anyways, the backpack will attach normally with just these pegs here, just like any other JoyToy model. It also comes with a crap ton of purity seals, has a crap ton of purity seals here as well. It's like there's a bunch of wires, again, probably amplifying the Psyker's powers. Once again, Psyker has full mobility, just like with any other JoyToy figurine. 100%, you can rotate it around 360. It is highly posable, so if you want to, oh no, what happened here? Looks like the book also fell off. What's going on here? So again, this guy is supposed to be attached to the belt via a ball and socket joint, but these seem to be kind of loose. So anyways, let's see what we can do with regards to popping off this head so I can show you this alternate helmet here. It's supposed to come off relatively easily. This is obviously easier said than done. There you go. And as you see, it is connected by, there's a socket joint here, down here, and then there's another ball joint here. You're supposed to just pull this thing off and then put the ball and socket joint at the bottom of this thing. Unfortunately, this doesn't actually fit that well either. Looks like there's a larger ball on the right side versus the left side, if you guys can see. So this thing only would accept the smaller ball. I don't think this actually accepts the bigger one. Let's see if this socket is the same size. It appears to be so. So theoretically, this should just fit right in. And, goodness, I'm actually having a lot of problems with this. I don't think I'm going to be able to show you guys how to properly do this. I just might have a headless librarian, unfortunately. Yeah, this is really disappointing that it doesn't fit 100% the way it should without a lot of force onto it. Nope. This is not really working that well either. I don't know, maybe I'll have to kind of like take a knife to it and kind of loosen up this. So let's see if the arms are going to be able to be swapped out pretty easily. Again, a ball and socket joint. As you can see here, take this off, and then you should be able to snap this on right in. There you go. And snapped right in. This is how it's exactly supposed to fit. And for such a premium price, I kind of expect better. So with that review, let's move on to the Ultramarines Primaris Captain and Gravis Armor, and hopefully it'll be a lot better than this one. In front of you is the newly released Primaris Captain and Gravis Armor, and it just came out in May, not too long ago. So this is the first time that we will be seeing this bad boy model, and as I said, I'm really hoping that this thing is going to be better than the Primaris Librarian, which is, like I said, a bit of a disappointment. So this guy fetches the same premium. It costs about $60 to $70 the secondary market to get this, as you can't order from Games Workshop themselves. And let's see what we have here. We have the card. His name is Captain Voltian. So I get to take on all four sides. All right, goodness gracious. So over here you have the Gravis Captain. The Gravis Captain has a purity seal that apparently fell off, which is also very disappointing. And then you have the alternate Gravis Captain helmet that comes with this. A separate hand to probably grip the power sword on the right hand side that I'll take out for you guys to see. And apparently we have an assault bolt rifle on the side. Let's bust this guy open and take a look at him. It has an auxiliary grenade launcher up here, and you have obviously the grenades on the bottom. It has some weathering as you would typically find on a JoyToy weapon. There is also some shading, although it's not very pronounced, this shading. So I would have to say the accuracy is quite spot on, and it's got the Aquila that everybody knows about, and that's all I have to say. And this is actually the first time I believe that one of these models actually come with a stand, because none of the rest of the models ever came with a stand. So let's take a look at the power sword. Fortunately, it has some sort of extra paint on here, which is again a bit disappointing that you would find this on a premium model. It is actually not very adorned very much in terms of just shading as well as blending, because typically when you find one of these swords, you'll have a gradient of light silver and then moves into a medium silver and a really dark one. There typically also is some electricity arcing out over here at this node. Fortunately, that's not the case. You don't find this on the model. However, this is pretty accurate to the game and the models that you would find that Warhammer 40K or Games Workshop produces. All right, let's look at the captain himself. Again, he is a very chonky boy. Actually, I'm really encountering some resistance over here. Typically, oh, so it's kind of a locking joint here. So you can lock things into place. It's not free moving as the other Librarian model was. There is a very high attention to detail over here. It's very accurate. And I'll have to say that the highlights too are a little bit sparse on this model compared to the rest of the models that I reviewed, like the Incursors. Let's get a close-up of the captain's face. The face, again, you can see a little bit of the pupils. There is some misprints that are going on here, but it's not as egregious as the Librarian, in my opinion. Apparently, this particular purity seal wasn't glued on properly. As you can see, there's a little bit of damage here and I guess glue overage. You got this cape over here. Again, made of a soft plastic, but is not as soft as the Librarian's cape. And the cape has a bunch of stains and markings that I really wouldn't expect on this model. This positioning of this purity seal is kind of strange too. I don't think purity seals typically would hang like this unless if there's wind billowing. Wow, this iron halo apparently fell off. Just a lot of inconsistencies that I'm not really too fond of for something that, like, again, that costs this much. So I'm, again, not too impressed with this one. For the amount that you pay for it, I'm not sure if this is worth the build quality. I'll be honest, I'm a bit disappointed. But hey, you know what? That's what I'm here for you guys to get an unfiltered review of these products that come out that apparently cost quite a premium to buy. Is this going to be worth your money? I can't really tell you. Maybe it will be, maybe it not. It just depends on how much of a Warhammer fanboy that you are. So anyways, these are the two figures here that we have reviewed in this video. So the Blood Angels Death Company Intercessors doesn't feel as flimsy as these guys, and they have a lot more attention to detail than with the Librarian as well as the Captain and Gravis Armor. Alright guys, I didn't really want to end the video on a bad note because I know that JoyToy does a very, very good job of recreating all the Warhammer 40k models. I know that JoyToy works very, very hard on recreating all these different models, and there's numerous steps to the manufacturing process, and there's probably a lot of quality control that goes into getting these things out to our hands. However, I'm going to say that, again, I'll be honest with you, this is a unbiased opinion that I'm giving you right now, and I believe it should be unfiltered. So the Librarian, for example, with the pauldron, it is very easy to pop back in. I guess it just fell off during transport. And then with regards to the book, you're able to also pop this back in with no issues whatsoever. So the Librarian, I really don't have any problems with. What I do have issues with, and I will not take this back, is with the Captain and Gravis Armor. Like I showed you guys earlier in the video, the iron halo as well as the purity seal fell off. Now, the biggest thing that really irked me was that, guess what? This happened. As I was trying to pose the figurine, I guess I pushed this arm back a little bit too much and it just popped off. And this thing really, really irritates the crap out of me. There is a lot of quality control issues here that I wish that JoyToy would actually fix. I am, again, not very impressed with this model because of these defects over here, and I hope that they can do better next time. So you can see with the cloak, it looks a little bit dirty on the inside. Maybe that is a purposeful thing, but I know for a damn fact that the backpack should not be falling off on this model. They need to do a lot more and a lot better work. As you can see here, there's a panel gap over here that I didn't actually highlight on the video earlier before. So anyways, this is Spruce and Studs. Thank you for watching this video, and I hope you join in for more videos. We still have a few other JoyToy models to review, and that is the Incursors as well as the Infiltrators. So look for those in an upcoming video. And as usual, I'll see you all in the next one.